With the release of Arkham Knight later this year, it seems a perfect time to do an Arkham retrospective, looking at what came before in order to build excitement for what's sure to be one of the year's biggest releases in gaming. Batman Arkham Asylum was released August of 2009, developed by the London-based Rocksteady Studios and published by Eidos Interactive in partnership with Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment. Announced in the summer of 2008, I and many Batman fans alike were frothing at the mouth with Batmania due to the recent release of The Dark Knight in theatres around the world. A Batman game made perfect sense to capitalise on its success. Having played somewhat disappointing Batman games before Asylum, my expectations weren't too high, but when I played it, Asylum quickly jumped to not only my favourite Batman game of all time, but also perhaps favourite game in general. Let's start with the narrative. The game opens with a familiar beat in the Batman world, with Batman capturing the clown prince of crime himself, the Joker, and bringing him back to the titular Arkham Asylum. Through a mix of cutscenes and walking introductions, we get a feel of the place and a selection of the key players in the game. The Joker escapes your capture and continues to put his plan in motion. The Joker escaping into the asylum gives the plot poetic intrigue from the get-go. This understanding of the Batman world comes from the inclusion of Paul Dini in the writing staff, who Batman fans know for giving the 90s Batman the Animated Series a level of sophistication and grandeur that perhaps people didn't quite expect.
Ta-da! Honey, I'm home.
Come on in.
Welcome to the madhouse, Batman! I set a trap, and you sprang it gloriously!
Through a hellish night for Batman, the player experiences what it's like to be the Dark Knight himself, taking out the Caped Crusaders Rogues Gallery in an epic boss battles varying both in difficulty and originality. The Scarecrow sequences still being standout sections of the game all these years later. The atmosphere of the game mirrors what it's like to be the world's greatest detective perfectly. The player being equipped with the tools and, more importantly, the utility belt gives the players the ability to feel like Batman. A lot of inspiration in the game comes from the old animated television series from the 90s. The inclusion of fan favourite Harley Quinn, for example, a character created to play off the brutality and insanity of the Joker. Returning voice actors also link it with the animated series, with my personal favourite Batman, Kevin Conroy, and with no doubt the best and perhaps funniest Joker, played by the Jedi himself, Mark Hamill. Arlene Sorkin returns as Harley, a character created in the mind's eye of her voice by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm, hence the decision to name her alter ego Harleen Quinzel. My one gripe with the Arkham Harley is the over-sexualized outfits she is portrayed in, which has since followed suit in the comic books. Her basic red and black costume design will always be the best version in my eyes, due to it being both the original and bucking the trend in Batman female villains having a provocative outfit, i.e. Catwoman/Poison Ivy, but that's just a personal gripe, as many Batman fans will disagree with me, I'm sure. However, saying that, a grotesque aesthetic runs throughout the game's art style, differentiating the Batman game's universe from its comic, film and television counterparts, giving the franchise a mature, grimy edge which personally I love. The gameplay of Arkham Asylum is definitive in its success, and laid a blueprint not only for the following Arkham games, but Warner Bros. Games in general. Shadow of Mordor being a prime example of being inspired by the combat in Arkham Asylum. The combat of Asylum being my favourite part of the game for sure, being fun for the player and enjoyable for anyone watching. Mixing cinematic moves with a robust combo system, Arkham City built upon the foundations laid in Asylum, but by no means does that mean it doesn't hold up. I had just as much fun as I did the first time I played it, and if anything to me, I prefer the gameplay of Asylum over Arkham Origins, where the new developer messed with the timings and formula a tad too much. The other meat of the gameplay comes from the exploration of the island in which the Asylum is situated, taking a Metrovania approach, where backtracking and puzzle solving is key to the game's progression. With each new gadget, the utility belt, access to a new part of the island is open to the player, and the feeling of accomplishment that comes with it. This compact structure being the main area of change with the sequels, where cozy design is expelled in favour of open world grandeur. That's not to say either design style is better, it just gives the games a distinct tonal difference that suits each of the game's narratives. The fan service in Asylum is the perfect blend of homage and puzzle solving, where knowledge of the character gifts the player with experience to upgrade Batman's abilities and gadgets. The narrative framing of this is through the character of the Riddler, living up to his namesake by giving you Batman-centric riddles to find collectibles and Easter eggs. These Easter eggs could be as simple as a C-list Batman villain or to a more recent Jim Lee Jeff Loeb fan favourite Hush. Finding these secrets is completely optional, but Rocksteady designed it in a way where it wouldn't feel out of place in the main story, and somehow they made collectibles fun.
Now that was unexpected.
In conclusion, to me, Asylum is a gaming masterpiece. Not a perfect game, as it suffers from an uninspired final boss battle and overly simple detective sequences, but even with its flaws, it still outshines many of its contemporaries of the time, and even most superhero games now. It laid groundwork for one of my favourite gaming franchises ever, in addition to also doing something unimaginable, satisfying comic book nerds around the world. With Arkham Knight around the corner, it was a pleasure to go back to where it all began. Arkham Knight has a lot to live up to, but with Rocksteady at the helm, I can't wait to be the Bat once again. Thank you for watching, like, comment and subscribe, and if you have a minute, check out my Mortal Kombat X review over here. Thank you.